Live trading analysis season. So today's Friday, May 29, the last trading day of the week, and also the last trading day of this month of the May. We will check together first of all because to understand for the live trading, the style is that it's not just jump to the charts and see the prices on a trade. It's better to understand, first of all, the market condition, market situation. And when you understand what's happening in the market, then we can go further and check the detail on the charts and decide based on the technical issue, technical indicators or technical condition. Generally, the style of my trading style is making a bigger decision by the fundamental data. And after you made your bigger decision, your made decision, then you can do the detail based on the technical indicators and technical signals that you can get from the charts. So at the beginning, let's first review the market and see what's going on the news, economic data, and then we can go further and check the charts. As for economic data, the main important and most important market mover these days is about the inflation and labor market. While we know that everything should be could be better, can be understand better or could be understand better if we check the bond markets. The bond market is the main market signal, the main signal in the market that can tell us what exactly going on, what's happening around, and based on which data we can make a decision. The bond market and the yields comes, the number of the yields, the percentage of the yield, or we can say better to say the yield of the bonds, depend on the different things, geopolitical, and also economic data, inflation and the labor market. All these together, they shape the yields and they move the bond markets. As you know, on the geopolitical front, the situation is this. Iranian and American sounds like they made some agreements, but they didn't announce yet. The final announcement is depend and waiting for the final decision is waiting for Donald Trump to make a decision. The news says that they already decided to continue this ceasefire for another 60 days. So during the 60 days, they can decide about the details that they want. So why the 60 days is important? Because we know there are that we're gonna have the World Cup in the United States, and this World Cup in the United States, it's not just about the attention on the news. It's about the when you have the ceasefire, it means that the tension is lower, and when the tension is lower, the terrorist possible terrorist attack that can happen during the World Cup in United States, Canada, and Mexico could be lower. We know that recently, when we had a higher tension between United States and Iranian government, Islamic Republic based in Iran, we had a higher number of terrorist attacks across the Europe, and also we had some report in United States attacking to the Jewish community, mostly in UK and United States. So that's why to lower this tension, they need some ceasefire, and the ceasefire of with the hope that it can end with something good and better. So when there is a hope and when you lower the tension, you can better control the possible terrorist attack. This is the main reason that I think Donald Trump and his team is seeking for this current ceasefire to continue this ceasefire. But at the same time, don't forget that we're going to have soon we're going to have the uh, October, and it's right before the election in the United States, and we have something in the United States to call it October surprise. So before October surprise, we need something to make the, for the October surprise, we need some surprise. What can be surprise? What can it be? It can be the win in Iran war. So that's also very likely and very plausible that now we know that the chance of Republican to win the election in the mid-election that we're going to have later later this year, there is a chance. They have a less chance to win this election. So they need the surprise, and this October surprise is one of the way that United States, Republican United States, is seeking for to manage the situation, to manage the condition in the market, and probably to be able to win the election. So don't forget about don't forget about the importance of this October surprise. When we are talking about the October surprise, it means that look, if we just like wait for 60 days, this 60 days just like June and July, and then at the middle of the at the middle of the July probably no, it's at the end of the July. Sorry, at the end of the July, middle of July, end of the July. That can be. At the end of the July, that ceasefire can be it. Or if they say that the 60 days, and this 60 days starts like at just like in few days, just like they can continue this, so they can buy time for August. And in August, they can start their military action if they want to. There are 2 months time. If during these 2 months, United States can win this in negotiations, they can bring the Iranian to the table and do and receive the whatever they want in negotiations. That can be that can be super amazing. If not, in August they have 1 month time to start their military action and end the job, what they call it, and what the Donald Trump says that, or probably we need to get in and end the job and finish the job. So in August, they're going to have a time to enter to the Iran and start this war again and finish the job. That's the October surprise plan. If they do not get what they want during the next 60 days. So in this time, so for this in this period of 60 days, what they gain, they bought a time, they passed they can finish their work off with the less tensions, and also the market can pass the oil that is already banded more than 2,000. Don't forget, more than 2,000 ship is locked in the Persian Gulf. So then during this time, they will have a time so to pass these ships there, these tankers, and if they can pass these tankers from the Strait of Hormuz, they can lower they can lower the price of the oil and control the oil price in the market. The oil price which is already down. So this is the generally what's happening in the geopolitical tension, the tensions between Iranian and American, which means now the market also counting on it. It's not something that I do only think about that. That's something that most of the analysts and the market participants they believe in that. However, maybe the question is that if everyone they know that why the Iranian accepting this, it's because that they have no other choice, because the blockade that the United States put down the Strait of after the Strait of Hormuz, because the Strait of Hormuz is blocked by Iranian, and after the Strait of Hormuz, American put the blockade, and this blockade is blocked everything's going through Iran and in Iran. So that means that the Iranian economy is under pressure, and if American they want to continue this blockade, soon they're going to have nothing to eat because the borders are closed somehow, the sanctions are at the highest level, and now the situation means that they are under pressure. We know that the inflation in Iran is so high right now, is more than 100%, and that's bringing more pressure on the people. And if this pressure gets more on the people, they can get out in the street as what they did 3 months ago before the war starts. So that's the situation. So that's the situation. So since we know this situation and now we know that what is happening there, now it's time for them to buy the sometime. If they reopen this blockade and import goods, import the foods, import things that they need to supply the people, they need to supply the citizens, so they can calm down. They can just like in Iranian money, the currency is losing the ground so they can gain some there. That's the general idea. So that can be the something win-win. So the Iranians thinks that okay, during these 2 months, maybe we can come to some deal. We can continue staying being in the power and give something to the states, and so that's the both sides. So even I want to say that if there is a that's this plan is so clear how Iranian and all the I mean how Iranian they agreed to come to this plan, to play, they agreed to play with this plan or to dance with this tango. That's the reason for both sides. I mean, the both sides they have enough reason to jump in this agreement and do the continue with the with things that happening there. So this is the situation there. Since this is the situation and we know the situation, then what's happening there? The market counting on that. This is what's happening. That's why the reaction you could see in a bond market, US 10 years bond yields is already down to 4.45. That was 4.52% just like a few days ago. 4.52% few days ago. And in these few days, it's down now to 4.52. It's just like this is the same thing that's happening in, for example, the Japanese 10 years bond also 2.65, which was 2.70. In a commodity market, if you look, the WTI price is down to $87, 87.80, which was about around 100 just a few days ago. And the Brent oil price is just $91.55. That was 111 just last week. So in this case, the United States could manage the oil price and control the oil and energy price. So now the Donald Trump can say that, okay, look here, I had a war, I closed, just like even if the Iranian they closed the Strait of Hormuz more than 2 months, we didn't have any oil to pass the Strait of Hormuz, but still they could be able to manage the oil price. The oil price didn't jump to $150, $200. It was mostly less than $100. Yeah, sometimes it jumped, it increased about $100, but mostly it stayed under $100. So there's such a big tensions they created, but still they could be able to manage to control the oil price. That's the big success actually. You know what I mean? That's what they can be proud of it. So this is the oil market condition. So why it's very important. It means that with this price, the inflation can be more under control. And when you have the inflation more under control, you can control the prices. Producer price index can slow down. That's what we could see in the inflation data so far this week. We'll talk about that on the economic calendar. When the inflation is lower, it means that you don't need, at least even if you don't cut the rates, you don't need to hike the rates. So less hawkish expected policy. And when you have a less hawkish expected policy, that's the effect stock market could gain. And you can see just like Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq. Only this week, so far, in past four, not even the 4 trading days, 3 trading days. Today is going to be the 4 trading days. In a few hours, in 2 hours, the US market will be open. In 2 hours, in 2 or 3 hours, US market will be open. So far, we had just 3 days, 3 trading days. Monday was closed, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. In 3 working days, we had 2 days market close at all-time high, new all-time high. That's super amazing, and that's what can Donald Trump be more proud of. That tells that okay, with all the situation, oil price was controlled, stock they could gain and print all-time high. So the situation in the market is positive, and we can understand that that's something that Republicans can be happy with that, and they can sell it to their voters. So they can gain in the political side. Market gained, traders gained, investors gained, and we can say in U.S. economy, most of the people they own the stock. When the stock gains, most of the people they gain and they got more richer. When I'm talking about they got more richer, it's even if it's under just the paper and you don't see just like it's not coming directly to the pocket right away, but at least they can feel that much better. And since you feel it, you can just like see the reaction of this feeling in a retail sales numbers and other that economic data. We will talk about that and I will show you that. But the only surprise that this week we had, which was against the other market, it was the cryptocurrency market. The thing is that cryptocurrency market, when the stock market is a positive and gaining, especially the Nasdaq, sorry, most of the traders before they were waiting to see the cryptocurrencies also to gain. But there are two main reasons that the cryptocurrency avoid of increasing more, and and they could not. It was not as the crypto market was not as successful as it's supposed to be. One, the cryptocurrency market is higher risk market. And when you are trading in a higher risky market, it means that when the risk in the market is high, the cryptocurrencies they are against the market, they are against the risk. So the price, they are not a safe haven. So when you have a higher risk in the market, you have a less demand for them. That's one. Another one is usually the people that the kind of the investors that they like cryptocurrencies, they like the technology and AI as well. And we know that in the recent months, we had a very good rallies in the AI-based stocks. So many traders and investors, they prefer to buy the AI stocks than buying the cryptocurrency. That was another reason for that. Actually, there are three reasons. I told three reasons. And the third one is the cash flow. We know in recent weeks, especially, we had cash out from ETF markets. And also, when about the IPO that we know that Elon Musk and his team, they want to have the IPO just like in the next days for the SpaceX, right? The SpaceX IPO made them to bring the just like more clear, because they want to combine the SpaceX, Tesla, the X, which was Twitter before, and also the X, the, the, this AI, XAI, I forget the name. So this when you want to bring it to the stock market and sell the IPO, you need to give a clear report. And in this clear report, we saw that SpaceX and Tesla generally, and also the Tesla, and generally we can say that Elon Musk, it doesn't have that much cryptocurrency or Bitcoin that market was expecting. They sold already this cryptocurrency. So the number of the cryptocurrencies that SpaceX owned is much lower right now. And the market average, so that was another signal, another negative signal. So generally we had this like, and that caused some more cash outs or cash flow out of the ETF markets in the cryptocurrencies. So these numbers, putting these news together and these data together, we can understand why the cryptocurrency market couldn't gain as good as the other markets are gaining and taking advantage of the current situation. This is generally what is happening in the market. Looking at the economic calendar this week so far, another thing that we shouldn't forget about this week, we had many economies closed this week. we had too many holidays. On Monday, U.S. market was closed because of the Memorial Day. In United Kingdom, it was the banking holiday, and Switzerland, it was the White Monday. But White Monday is the day that the night and day are together. That's happening in May, in the last days of the May. In the northern countries like north of just like in north of the Russia, Finland, Switzerland, those countries around. And in South Korea, it was the WASKI Day. So in Hong Kong, in China, it was a close. So the most market on Monday, they were closed. And Islamic countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and United Arab Emirates, those markets, they were also closed. So the cash flow during the week, because of the Islamic Eid al-Adha, something like that, that they had, Eid al-Adha. And so because of this Islamic holidays, it was closed to those markets as well. So we had a less liquidity in the market. This less liquidity in the market that we had also caused more, how do we can say, just like more harsher movement in the market, more faster movement in the market. That's always happens. On Monday we didn't have such important data to talk about. Tuesday, the most important number, it came from United States, which took which was important for me. That was the civic consumer confidence. That's what I was talking about. That in United States, still the people, even though with all this problem they have, the general idea is the positive, and still the confidence is fine. Yeah, the civic consumer confidence is under 100, is 93. It's not so good, but it's better than expected. It's better than compared with the recent months. We can see 93.1. It's not such a bad. This is why we know that the IFO IFO consumer confidence, the consumer confidence and business confidence in IFO and in ZEW surveys in Europe, they are always the negative. It's not just a part of negative 7, minus 70, minus 60, minus 50. But that's the situation in the United States. So that's what I will say that about the retail sales also. When we come to that data, I will talk about that. I will explain more. Then on Wednesday, we had central bank decision and monetary policy meeting in New Zealand, where that was interesting. The New Zealand dollar got stronger here, and with this situation, New Zealand dollar gained after this decision because uh, 3 members they voted for holding the current rate. 3 members they voted for rate hike. Here, the governor of the RBNZ voted for the holding the rate. So 4 against 3, they hold the rates. However, the tone of the statement was hawkish. This is the exactly same thing happened on Thursday in Korea as well. In the South Korea also, the Bank of in South Korea also they hold the rates at 2.25%, and they had a hawkish tone in the statement. The same statement, hawkish statement we had in South Africa as well, but they hiked the rates. And the main reason that the South African they hiked the rate, it was because of their inflation, because South African inflation jumped about 4%. That was the main reason for them to hike the rates. In United States, uh, United States, we had ADP, we had during the week, ADP employment change positive 35,000. That was good. And then on Thursday, on Wednesday, we had also the red book retail sales, which jumped by more than 9.1%. Amazing. That shows that the US citizens, they are still spending very good money, while that's always negative these days and or very low in European economies, China and even Japan. Actually, for the Japan, today we had a positive news of the retail sales. We'll talk about that. In United States, this week, the main important number, it was the PCE price index and the core PCE price index. Core PCE price index on the monthly base increased by 0.2%, and annually it increased by 3.3%. Core PCE price index. And the PCE price index monthly 0.4%, annually 3.8%. Both of them on the annual scale met the expectations, but on the monthly base, they increased less than expected. But still, 0.4% growth for the PCE price index on the monthly base is still the high number. So that's why that's what I was talking about. The energy price, even though it's higher right now compared with before the war starts, but still it's again in a very low level because at low level compared with the expectation. If the war starts, the oil price will jump to $200. That's what we saw. That didn't happen. So these numbers told us well that we can use just like real income increased by 0.2%, real spent increased by 0.4%, and all these numbers they were telling us that the U.S. consumer are still spending their money. And that was the most important number of the week, and data that we had so far in the week. Today, also, we had the German unemployment rate falling to 6.3% so far. Just a few hours ago, we had that. And we can see now that the German economy also, maybe a little bit, we can be a little bit positive about that. But later today, we don't have much data to talk about. So that's what's happened generally, the market condition. Looking at this market condition and now the news data and things that we had, and now let's go to the charts and see how's the condition in the charts and what we do expect. US dollar index trading at 99.13. Dollar index depend on the geopolitical tensions right now. Economic data support the US dollar because why? Because if you look at the US economy compared with the European and the Chinese economy, you can see now it's slightly more in a better general condition. And when your economy is in a better condition, it means that the demand for your currency also can increase, which it happens here, and that's one of the reasons holding the US dollar higher because the demand is more for that. At the same time, we have the geopolitical tensions, and when there is a geopolitical tensions, developing economies currency gets under pressure, and they are looking for safe havens, which is right now mostly the US dollar index. So these situations supporting the dollar index, that's why we can see the dollar index is stronger. But if till end of the day, in next hours and next days, we have the positive news from the agreement of the continuing of the ceasefire between Iranian and American, that can put the pressure on the US dollar, and we can see the dollar index under 99. So the main levels for the dollar index right now could be first of all could be 99 by itself. It's like this level almost that it is. And it's not just about look, this level is also the technical level as well. This the technical level, and at the same time, this is the it's like fundamentally this level. And this is a technical level, and at the same time, it's a very fundamental level, just like because of just the technically and fundamentally 99 is getting supported. Fundamentally, it's like the psychological level, right? The psychological, 99 is broke down. It's like we have the price under the 99. So that's the psychological can help. And the technical, you can see this is the level that several times repeated here, and the market was facing more resistance before moving higher or support before moving lower. That's there. But less than this, we will have the situation like under 99, the next level for the US dollar, which is very likely to be fall. The next target for US dollar index is most probably the next target. It should be around this level, 98.50. And under 98.50, we can go further for 98. But I don't think that we can reach 98 right these days, because to reach lower, to go to the 98, we need more reason. And this situation it's not sounds like doesn't sound like you need such a can give the market to the market by market price with such a confidence that the US dollar can fall towards 98 or even lower. So now we can say that okay, between 98 and 99 can be the area that we can see for US dollar for the next week and next days. With this situation, if we look at the US at the gold market, the gold is trading when we have the weaker US dollar. So it means that you should have more demand for the gold, and that's what we're expecting to see. Technically, if that, I mean, so the fundament, if looking at the fundamental point of view, we can say that the gold has enough reason to be a positive. Why? Because we will have the weaker, slightly weaker US dollar index in one hand. On the other hand, opening the Strait of Hormuz will increase the trade and expected demand also will experience the trade there and also can increase the demand for the gold. So generally, the situation is positive fundamentally for the gold, while we can see the technically also 4,000, almost 380 was the level that in the recent months, whenever the gold reached there, after that increased much higher. Again, like here, here, again here. We reached 2,000, 4,380, and now it's increasing. The next target, again, this depends on how long this ceasefire can continue. As long as ceasefire continues, we can expect the gold price to increase. The first target is 4,600, and after that, we can go towards 4,800. My target for the next 2 months is $4,800 for the gold. On the other hand, if you look at the oil price, let's say WTI. If you look at the WTI, now you can see the WTI even lower, $86. Technically, so as we talk on the fundamental point of view, fundamentally the oil is fundamentally oil price is under pressure, and as long as this ceasefire continues, we can see the lower prices. But pre-war levels, which is around these levels, it's not something that we can see that in a short term. The maximum down or lower price that I do expect for the oil is around this area, 78, 79, this area. If the Strait of Hormuz opens, we will see the maybe for some hours as like market initial reaction, we can see the oil lower, but generally oil price should be higher than $78. Technically also is important, but on the fundamental point of view also don't forget that many economies they use their reserves, and now to refill the reserve they need to buy more, so the demand for the oil is higher. So even though whatever even if the Strait of Hormuz opens, again we have a higher demand in the market right now, at least for a short term. So I don't think that this higher demand will let the or can let the oil price to fall even for lower than this. So the situation is not something that we can say, okay, that's the situation, and so we can that's the situation, and we can say, okay, now with this situation, if the Strait of Hormuz opens, we can see oil price in much lower level. So this is what's happening here. That's for the oil market. Looking at the cryptocurrency market, let's talk about the Bitcoin. Bitcoin price now is trading around 73,000. That's what I was talking about. Look at the Bitcoin price. The technical and the key levels right now, we have like this current price actually is one of the most technical, slightly lower than this. And above that, we have here, you can see here, and then I think the next, if the price wants to increase, the next target can be around this. Okay, but The problem is that can price increase? I do expect if the price fall again under 73,000 to 72,000 areas, then we can see the downtrend, the pressure can continue further. Look at this trend. That's the trend. That's nothing else than the trend. The market is creating lower high and lower low. When you create a lower low and lower high, it means that you are trading in downward. So that never go against a trend. Trend is your friend. And what the market telling us right now, unless if we see the prices, just like any signal, like let's say that any signal around this level, 75,000. If we don't see any signal above 75,000, the downtrend can still continue. And I am still negative for the cryptocurrency markets for the Bitcoin. So still the downward still there, and that can continue further unless we can see the price about 75,000 US dollars. So this is the same situation, and with the trend it's almost the same for the Ethereum also. The Ethereum condition is the same. We can see the charts, the Ethereum chart and the Bitcoin charts almost looks like each other. So don't it's just like, let me bring, if you want, I can bring the BTC. You can see the price is almost the same. So the Bitcoin movement and Ethereum movement, the movement and the shape of the market is the same. So for the same situation, for the Ethereum also, Alex, I look forward for the same situation. As long as Ethereum is trading under, especially under 3,000 US dollar, this is 3,000. Oh, sorry, under 2,000 US dollars. So 3,000 so far. If the now we are in the border, almost here. If Ethereum once again fall under this 2,000, then we can expect much lower levels. Then the next level can be around here. $1,900 and then 1,825. But if the price can gain above 2,150, if Ethereum can gain above 2,150, the upward, this downward trend can change at least for a short term. Looking at the stock markets, S&P 500, let's check the S&P 500. US 500. Okay. Look, S&P 500 or the US 500 still making history. Look at this level. I couldn't even imagine at the beginning of the year that we're going to see in May, we're going to see these levels. This is the level that this is the level almost 7,000 where S&P 500 started this jump. Now, what's happening in the market? That's the level of warning. $7,350. Why I'm telling that the level of the warning? As at the beginning I mentioned, now the stock markets, generally the markets, they are gaining with the, I can better say, with the more expensive money, with the more expensive dollar. And the credits are high, yields are high. And when you have a higher yields, it means that the money that you are taking it to invest is expensive. And when you have expensive money, it means that your investment is expensive. And when your investment is expensive, it means that your tolerance against the negative market is can be you can be less strong, or you can have, yeah, you can be, you cannot tolerate too much the negative pressures. That's why if the price falls under this level, in any case, if something happened in any situation, if the price falls under this level, the downward tendency can go further, and that can be very negative signal for stock market. So look at this signal. Generally, now we're positive. Again, we are 7,581, new all-time high, new records. That's wonderful. And still, again, I'm talking, don't go against the trend. Never go against the trend. Now the trend is a positive, but that can be very tricky level, and you should be careful about that. That's what's happening here. So that's the only thing that I can talk right now about the stock market. This is the same situation almost we have in Dow Jones as well. So now S&P 500, Dow Jones, where it goes? Oops, it's not not Dow Jones INC, US 30. Yeah, the same situation we have in the Dow Jones. Yeah, the level of the gain in the Dow Jones is less than the S&P 500, even if it's less than the Nasdaq. If you look at the US 100 or Nasdaq, also it's the same. If you look at that, the Nasdaq, the level of the gain of the Nasdaq, you can see it's more than S&P 500 even, because AI stock related and tech stock related companies in the Nasdaq, they supported the gains, and now we have much more gain here. And the Nasdaq is the more tricky right now. And for the Nasdaq, we can say this tricky level can be around here, 28,922, or maybe better to say, to make it less risk, 28,500. If the Nasdaq falls under 28,500, then the downward can be much stronger, and even that's a possible we go back towards 26,000 before making any decision. So 28,500 for the Nasdaq is very tricky level. Careful about that. But right now the trend is a positive. I mean, looking at the market, the trend generally is positive, and now the prices are gaining, the prices are higher. So we looked at the stock market, yes, we looked at the cryptocurrency market, right? Gold, we looked, US dollar, we checked. Euro USD, let's check the Euro USD. About the Euro USD. Euro USD is not under pressure, it's not gaining. 1.16, 1.15, 1.16 is something that they look at here. It's something that we can say traditional levels for the Euro USD. Why is traditional levels here? Because now the market, but the thing is that 1.15 here is, this is here, 1.15. It's almost here. 1.15 here is the K level. Euro USD, as long as trading above 1.15, is positive slightly, and but it can be between 1.15 and 1.18 here. Above 1.18 cannot increase, I do believe. Why? Because the European economy is not strong enough to be able to support the euro. And if in any case Euro USD falls under 1.15, then we can see 1.14 right away. So now we can say the desired movement between 1.15 and 1.18, and mostly slightly positive right now about the Euro USD. Almost the same situation we can say for GBP USD as well. Almost the same situation, look at here, we have for GBP USD as well. But for GBP USD, this K level is 1.32. Here. Let's look at here. Euro USD is this K level is 1.32. And the highest level for now that I can see for GBP/USD is 1.35. I cannot give any chance for GBP/USD right now above 1.35, unless if we see that the rate hike in United Kingdom, which is very, very less likely. But British economy recently had some positive news, if especially you look at the last week's PMI numbers, it was better than the Eurozone, but still, compared with the US economy, is under pressure, it's weaker. So 1.35 is my highest current condition and expectation for GBP/USD, but slightly I'm positive right now. Slightly natural with slight positive because only because that I do expect the US dollar to slightly lose the momentum, not because that the British pound can gain the momentum. Yeah, that's what's happened in the market last week and during the weekend so far here, and that's the market condition and our expectations from the market movement. Thanks for being with us. Enjoy your trades, enjoy your weekend. See you soon.